expressed by guests on the podcast are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Two Cops One Donut, its host, or affiliates. The podcast is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. We do not endorse any guests' opinions or actions discussed during the show. Any content provided by guests is of their own volition, and listeners are encouraged to form their own opinions. Furthermore, some content is graphic and has harsh language. Viewer discretion advised and is intended for mature audiences. Two Cops One Donut and its host do not accept any liability for statements or actions taken by guests. Thank you for listening. What's going on, Two Cops One Donut partners, followers? I don't know what to call you guys. Let's see. I wonder how my sound's coming across. I just moved my whole entire studio around. So, needless to say, my equipment is all over the place, messed up. Trying to figure out if my settings and everything are good. Which is, I see Patriot Bearded Man's joined. I like that name. That's cool. Bear G3Q. I'm just call you Bear. What's up, Bear? Steve Wallace. What's going on, brother? This better be lit since I had to watch the Niners beat down. Uh-oh. Sorry, Dick Peters meme. I didn't watch any football, obviously, because the Lions aren't in it, so I don't give a shit. Mr. Bill Fold in the house. He said, howdy and mahalo. Sipping a little smoke wagon tonight. Let me just show you guys what that bottle looks like right there. Not a sponsor, but damn if I'm not going to try. It's my favorite whiskey, y'all. This is where I'm kind of an amateur. I kind of know the difference between bourbon and whiskey, but I don't. Like if somebody asked me, like, is Smoke Wagon, to me, Smoke Wagon's a bourbon, but I call it whiskey. So I don't know. I don't know how to, unless it says it on the label. I don't know the difference other than the age. I think it's how long it's been aged. So I don't know. Ooh, that first sip is always the best part. Little burn. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Are you a Cowboys fan? I don't know if you can read that. I'm pointing at it like I expect you can read it. But if it's not a Michigan team, no, I'm not a fan. I live in Texas. Look right here behind me. I don't know if you can see that. But I'm from Michigan. I lived there the majority of my life. I'm getting damn close to having lived in Texas now just as long. But yeah, I grew up around the Red Wings, the Pistons, Detroit Lions, Michigan Wolverines, which is the only legitimate college football team in Michigan. So all you Spartan fans can kick rocks. Mr. Belfold said, all bourbons are whiskeys, but not all whiskeys, like Scotch and Irish whiskeys, are bourbons. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about it. Good to know. I got the IG community on here as well. Patriotic Bearded Man said, welcome to the greatest nation in the world, Texas. Yeah, I don't disagree. Trust me. I love Michigan. I have parts of it that will forever be in my heart. But if you were to give me the ultimatum to live in Michigan or Texas, I'm going to pick Texas every time. There is very little about Michigan, especially when it comes to the politics of living there, that I just don't care for. Trying to get my... Now, please let me know if my settings or anything sounds wonky or anything like that. I moved not the entire studio around, but I moved a lot around. So I'm just trying to get it all set. Bourbon has to be made 100% in the U.S. Has to be 51% corn in the mash, and has to be aged in new oak barrels. Okay, good to know. I thought the difference between whiskey and bourbon was the 51% corn, but the aged, how long it's been aged in a barrel. That's what I thought the difference was. AK Fuzzy Dice said, sounds good on IG. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Something's really weird with Instagram. Instagram and Facebook, I know they're both owned by the same people, and my stuff has been taken over, back and forth between which one has the largest, following. I hate saying following, but people that have followed the channel. And, I don't know, Facebook has been the most steady consistent, just steadily cruising up, where the Instagram is just this high peaks, low peaks, high peaks, low peaks. Um, you sound gay, but it's not your audio settings, it's you. My friend Peter. Love it. Um, Instagram just has 0 consistency, and my Facebook took over for the lead by a huge margin to me. I've been at 152,000 on Instagram now for 6 months plus, and Facebook's like, "We're just gonna keep steady climbing." And it's creeped to it got to about 150, and it was getting close to taking over the Instagram. Then it was like, we're just going to shoot up to 175, so it jumped up like 25,000 things. I think it's at like 176. It's still climbing pretty good right now, so I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm not big on following the numbers. I do like to see that everything's steadily increasing, which tells me we're doing the right thing, putting out the right messages. You guys like what we're doing. um, King Tyshawn said, "New to the page, what do you do?" I'm glad you're here, King. Let me tell you what we do. So I am a cop. I am a city cop in North Texas. We'll say, I don't ever say my actual agency. Not hard to find out if you want to find it. But I noticed that there was a tremendous gap between law enforcement and the community, and I wanted to figure out how to fix that. I have no delusions that I'm going to fix all the problems, but damn it, a cop that's doing the job needs to try to communicate with the public. So I saw this lack of communication, lack of bridging the gap, which is overused. But in that gap, I had to try to figure out how do we close the distance with people that don't like police. I could give a shit less about people that like police. They're not the ones that we got to win over. Who we need to win over are the people that don't like us. And every cop page channel thing you see, it's either a dancing TikTok cop or an echo chamber for police. And I don't like that. I don't you're not doing anything that's solving any problems. You're just placating people that already like you. Police pages, like not just people making police pages, actual official police pages. It's, oh, look here, we're petting puppies at the local shelter. Oh, we're playing basketball in the streets with minority kids. We have 3 different camera angles. Like, it's all fake propaganda shit. You're not winning anybody over. It's got its purpose, don't get me wrong. I understand, but one, you gotta own up. Cops screw up. If you think cops aren't messing up, you're lying. You're delusional. So we need to own that. We need to own where we're screwing up. We need to own what we're doing well. So that was another thing I wanted to do. And it all had to be based in something objective, and that's education, in my opinion. Because what does education do? It doesn't necessarily take a side. It just goes where the facts lead us for what we know currently. And currently, what we know, de-escalation is a big thing right now. That used to be called verbal judo way back in the day. So I'm just giving you an example, but really, King, what we're trying to do is talk about the bad, talk about the good, being showing examples of both, but explaining and talking about why it's good and why it needs to be repeated if you see officers doing a good job on something. And then talk about the bad and talk about how we fix that. The things that need the way that I see it, the way that y'all see it. And I'm in a fishbowl. I'm a cop. All I see is cop stuff. I've been out of the growing up and I grew up in Flint. I've been out of that for a long time, so I lose touch. You start losing touch after a year of being out of your regular environment. So for me, what I wanted to do was I wanted it to be heavily involved with engagement. You'll see, and I get, man, I get so passionate about what I do. I get wrapped up a lot of times with just some of the beat down of people just constantly the negativity, which don't get me wrong, I completely understand it, but it's on the scale that I'm at now with, nearly 500,000 people following what I do, I hear the same messages repeatedly, just worded differently. And as a person that likes to engage and wants to engage, it becomes to be a beatdown. Um, I see Arios drop $2 in the super chat. Appreciate you, brother. He said, Eric is actually a bad cop. Well, you spelled my name wrong, so you're a bad speller. Matter of fact, I think my name is like all over. Yeah, it's right here. Literally spelled in front of your face. I know Ariel's just BSing, but yeah, spell my name right. Put some respect on my name. But King, that's really what helps, in my opinion, stand out is if we show cops in a bad light, we're going to talk about it and we're going to own it and we're going to tell you how to fix it. We're going to tell you where we see it go wrong. We're going to tell you about all of these things that cops just more often than not say, well, let's wait till the full investigation comes out. We can't do that anymore. That used to be the old motto, like wait till the investigation. Then cops wouldn't give you any information. Well, damn it, you guys are already seeing the videos before the police see them sometimes, and you're already talking about it. And if you're going to already see it and already be able to talk about it, I would at least like to get ahead of the curve and give you my perspective as somebody that's done the job 20 years now and start from there. Cops get really bent out of shape when they hear my opinion on something based on what I see in the video and say, well, you don't know this, you don't know that. You're 100% right. There's a lot of shit I don't know. But I think it's very arrogant to go out there and say that statement to people. They know that. They know that. People know that I don't have all the information. The only people who get butthurt about it are other cops. You're just very arrogant to think that everybody else out there doesn't know that we don't have all the information. It's a brand new fucking video. Of course, we don't have all the information. Most of the time, it's a brand new video. And even on the ones it isn't, that are not. Isn't or are not? I don't know how to say that. But Outspoken Tiger from Los Angeles. What's up, brother? Appreciate you. It's that's what we do here, King, and it's evolved big time since when we first started. It's a podcast, so King, I'm still explaining to King what it is that we do. So we do a podcast where I'll interview other cops, other judges, mayors. I interviewed Kyle Rittenhouse. I interviewed people that were wrongly convicted of murder. One did 26 years, another one did 24 years. And the point is having conversations about the system, and having conversations about the job through an educational lens, a humanizing lens, which is another overplayed word, humanizing. But what I mean by humanizing, King, is that like right now you're learning about me. This is the humanizing part. So you can tell if I'm full of shit, you'll know. If people are bullshit detectors too. Cops are good at it, but everybody else has a skill in reading bullshit. If you think I'm full of shit, you're going to know. And it's the same thing. I want you to learn that about the people I interview. If you think what they're about to say is full of shit, you're going to pick that up in the first 20 minutes because I'm getting to know them. I'm trying to get you to get to know them as well. And then we get into their specialty. If they're a SWAT guy, we're going to talk about SWAT, what the training was like, what they think they do really well, what they think they do bad, where they think they can improve. So all of these things, brother. So that's the podcast side. Then we do this live stream part. A lot of times what I'll do is I put out shorts and reels, and that's to get conversation going. It's not to go in depth, but we do the live stream to go more in depth on those shorts and reels. And then we'll watch body cam videos and I'll pretend like I'm the cop in the video and we start to break down that way. So, King Tyshawn said on Instagram, I've also been interested in becoming a cop for a couple months now. Do you have any regrets in your profession? No, I love being a cop. I am in a world where everybody doesn't want to be a cop anymore. And I can tell you recruitment's way down. I love it. I think the beauty of being a cop is, Jerry Worm's in the house. I see that. I think the beauty of being a cop is it doesn't matter how much the rules change, whether in favor of policing or not in favor of policing, you figure out a way to do the job. Show me another job that's going to challenge you that much, that often. We are constantly learning and evolving how to do a job that keeps changing. not a lot of people get to say their job changes all the time. Yeah, I could not do a job. I have a hard time even in policing getting stuck doing the same duties for I said duties, doing duties for longer than about 3 years. That's about my limit. And then I get restless. I feel like I've kinda got it down, and then I wanna move on to something new that I'm still learning. If I'm continuing to learn, I'm pretty satisfied. So that's the cool part about being a cop. So, my recommendations to you, King, if you do decide to be a cop, 1, learn the fucking Constitution. 2, learn jujitsu. Um, and 3, learn the Constitution. Know that inside and out, especially the First Amendment. That's a big one. Second Amendment's great too. Don't get me wrong. Love that. Jerry Worms said, Eric, you got to keep the message going. Eventually, people will catch on. I think you're right, Jerry. Like I said, I do get weary. I do get tired sometimes reading the comments. So yesterday I hit a wall. I was especially when sometimes people are dropping messages that aren't or comments that aren't even related to the video or the point. They just go off on their own tangent. And it's the comments. It's a public forum. They have the total right to do that. And it's when your expectations aren't met. If you guys have watched the ego course that we put on, my expectations aren't being met and it's frustrating. And I got to catch myself using my own training to be like, Levine, just quit getting so emotionally invested into your project, which I do. That's fuck, you guys know. Anybody that's followed me for a little while, you know I'm emotionally invested into what I do. I love doing this. I like that I feel like it helps. I like helping. That's why I became a cop. I wanted to help. I want to chase bad guys. There's all little parts of it. It's not just one thing. I want to drive fast. I want the lights and sirens going. Not anymore, but when I first started, I did. Now shit. You ain't catching me in a pursuit. Meaning I'm not gonna be in one. Eric is sensitive. I am. Fuck, I admit it. I know I'm sensitive. I do really well for a while, and then whatever it is that helps you regulate. I hit a wall from just out because I put a lot of energy into life. Shit, I don't know how to put it. Guys, I'm in the military. I'm in the National Real-Time Crime Center Association as a vice president. I'm an executive board member for a major association. Um, I am a supervisor for a real-time crime center, which is got a DFR program, drone first responder program that we're building from scratch right now. And we are building a regionalized crime center, which is going to be the first, I think it's the first level 5 regionalized crime center in at least in Texas. I know that for sure, but it may be the first one in the nation. I don't know 100% on that yet. So, Dick Beater means most cops are very sensitive. Yes. Yeah, I'd say you're right. I think being aware of it though, that's the start. That's half the battle. G.I. Joe. Um, but so between the military, being a supervisor for a crime center in a city of 1.2 million people, doing the podcast stuff, and then we have DTV. DTV is a completely separate business, and we're trying to make shows that explain technologies for police. We're trying to create shows that share stories about people getting released from prison, which is stuff we're trying to build. We're trying to do, we've got all these other things going on with DTV that we're trying to do behind the scenes. I'm nonstop all the time, and I'm a dad. And my wife, I hope she's listening. I'm an awesome husband. So, no, she probably not even watching. So, But yeah, I am so busy that I hit burnout. I think yesterday I kind of hit burnout, so I came in today to recap or regain that steam by just I reorganized this whole office studio, and it kind of reinvigorated me and just needed something constructive to take the energy out on. So here I am, and I said I'm gonna go jump on a live. I saw my mom sitting out having a cigarette and watching her stories, and see Marine Bloods in the house, Tim's in the house, both two of my mod squad. Dick Beater said, "I watch your clips on auditors. Most of them act on emotion." Yeah, yeah. The sound like Porky Pig. The the problem with a lot of the police when it comes to the auditor stuff is one, we get that ID crack. We think because we were called to the scene and we made contact with somebody that was in the course of the investigation that we were called on that we have to ID them. Not only is that not true, it's unlawful. Um, or I shouldn't say it's unlawful. You can ask for ID. It's when you demand the ID that becomes unlawful. Um, but we get stuck on this stupid wheel where we think because we were called to the scene, this goes into poor training, because we were called there that we have a right to their ID, and that's not true. So, in the state of Texas, I can't speak for every state, but being under arrest, that's when I can ID you. On a lawful traffic stop, that I can ID you then too. And then when I have reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime. So one of the examples I like to use is um, I'm walking around the sidewalk, and all of a sudden I see a guy running with a mask on, a bag of money, and a person chasing after him. He just stole my money. Boom! I stop both of them. Put one in cuffs. Put them both in cuffs. It doesn't matter. And ask the person that was chasing what's going on. He stole my money. Okay, cool. Well, I didn't see it happen. Doesn't mean it happened, but I got reasonable articulable suspicion. So now I can't ID. Um, Now it's very possible that I could release that person with just a report. So I do the report, send that up to a detective, and a detective follows up. Says, okay, here's my suspect based on this information. Here's my victim based on this information. And they continue to do that investigation without me. So, um, Fuzzy Dice said, hell yeah, put them both in cuffs. Yeah. Well, I definitely would. Somebody's chasing somebody with money. You're both going in cuffs till I figure out what's going on. Love that Smoke Wagon. Guys, if you have not had Smoke Wagon, go check out their Instagram page. I like following them. They talk a lot about how they make stuff, which is I like the educational side of things. Tim said, but they say it's policy to ID you, which here's the rub. People get a little butthurt because cops can ask for ID. And I am okay with asking. This is where, my anti-bad cop crowd, they don't like the fact that cops ask when they don't have a right to it. And I say it's fine to ask. What I wish cops would do, and this is what I wish policy would dictate, is in giving them informed decisions to make. Hey, I'm Sergeant Levine, blah, 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 police department. I got you detained for now while I'm trying to figure this out. Be very clear when they're detained and when they're not. I do not have a right to your ID, but would you mind giving me your ID so I can add it to our report that we're going to have to do on this? You're not suspected of a crime right now. I have no right to your ID. Just be honest. I think it gets a lot farther. And it helps educate the public when they need to ID and when they don't. And it helps cops reaffirm when people need to ID and when they don't. Because if you get in a habit of saying, well, this is how it starts. Policy is why I'm asking for ID. So they're like, oh, I got called here and per our policy, I need to ask for your ID. And then eventually that morphs into, we got called here, so I need to get your ID. It's a slow trigger, but it happens that way too. And now another officer hears some other officer say that, and they start doing it. They're like, "Oh, that's okay," and they don't even realize they're doing it. And the next thing you know, you got a whole culture in that police department where they're like, "Ah, we got called to the scene. We got to get your ID." No, that's not how that works. It's not how that works. So, um, Jerry Worms said most cops have to do some kind of daily report on every call. So they feel they need to fill in names and date of births and who they spoke to. Yeah, absolutely. Because on these forms, it'll have, all that asking for that information. It doesn't mean you have to put it in there. Steve Hill said, Eric, are you still trying to convince your mom to stop smoking? I try all the time. Mr. Billfold said, I don't care when they ask, but the facts are clear that 99% officers ask immediately threaten to detain them for an investigation and threaten to arrest for failure to ID. Well, I don't know about the 99% made up statistic you just did there, but yes, it does seem like a lot of them do. I'll give you that. But I'm not going to give you 99%. So I think that's where a lot of the problems come in when we start talking about the ID and the problems that we have with First Amendment auditing. Another problem is people weaponizing police because they don't know the First Amendment and they're trying to use the police to solve their problems for them. Because oftentimes what will happen is somebody will come out, a citizen will come out, and they don't even come with the right attitude to begin with. And they're like, why are you filming us outside of our restaurant or whatever it is? And so the whole your tone's coming across all wrong. So they get this tone, and then they get into an argument with the First Amendment auditor. And the first thing they do, I'm going to call the cops. So they go and they call the cops. Now they're bringing the cops in to try to solve their problem because they couldn't just handle it politely and they didn't understand people's rights in the first place. So I'm sorry, if you call yourself a U.S. citizen, I think you should know Constitution just as well as cops should know it. That may be an unpopular opinion, but as a person that's in the military, I see a lot of ungratefulness for what we have here, and if you want to be proud to call yourself a citizen, you should know the Constitution. Just my 2 cents. Doesn't mean I'm right. So in that, they get the beef going back and forth. Now the cops show up, and the cops will make this mistake. They'll try to make contact with who they think the suspect is instead of making contact with the complainant. I am a big fan of going and making contact with the complainant first to figure out if I have any offense. Because a lot of times what you see on the call details is not going to be the same as what this person's actually going to tell you. So when you get there, you're like, all right, what were they doing? Well, they were over on that sidewalk and they were filming us do all this stuff and invading our privacy. Well, they're in public. You have no expectation of privacy in public. Now I've just educated you. It's a First Amendment right. They have a lawful ability to be on the public sidewalk and anything that they can see with their camera, their eyeballs, binoculars, whatever. It's your job to keep your stuff private in public. Even if that means them being on a public sidewalk and looking through the window and seeing your guys' information. It's on you to keep things private inside that business. So now the officer has educated the complainant, and I don't even have to go make contact with the auditor if I did it right. So, yeah. Sergio Vigario, 93. I find clarity with someone is, I'm trying to read this. I find clarity with someone is the key because I believe I was called. I want to solve the problem and not just putting a Band-Aid on a problem, whether it's a domestic or a traffic stop. I like that mindset, but you can't let yourself get too stuck when you can't give it the Band-Aid approach. Because I promise you, a lot of domestic calls is a Band-Aid. That is stuck on repeat. Fuzzy Dice said, if Blue would stop and think in these situations, be creative, polite. Yeah, I think that helps for sure. Let me see. Jerry said many of these First Amendment auditors do videos in front of banks. This immediately causes concern for the managers and they call the police. Yeah, 100%. 100%. But Jerry, Tim said, only one I've seen in front of banks is Cult News, and he's hilarious. Yeah, I did. Yeah, Cult News was pretty funny. I like it. I love that he just like turn around, put your hands behind my back. He's like, all right. He's just waiting for the moment. But let me see here. I don't have any videos prepped or anything like that. I just kind of wanted to do discussion, but I did want to pull up. Let me see here. I did want to pull up our. I think I'll go to X again. It seems to work the best. If I can find it. Bear with me for a second, y'all. I am trying to find. There it is. Home. Let's go to my profile. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen. All right, let's see. What happens when I make... Got to figure out what happens when I biggie size on X.
Get on the ground! He's on fire! He's on fire! Get extinguisher! Extinguisher!
So, thing to notice in this video is and I'm giving you kind of a backstory. This was a motorcycle chase. They were chasing this motorcycle. I think it was no plate on it or something to that effect. Somebody that they've been looking for. Anyway, he ends up dropping the bike, running on foot, and he has a gas canister for a motorcycle on his person. Now, I've never been a motorcycle rider, but I do know that they'll carry like a little tank of fuel with them if they're going on longer trips. And this guy had one, and the officer decided to tase. So, I'm going to go back. I want you guys to understand.
And about police.
I want you to understand, okay? And this, maybe it's just me, but I can tell you, I know roundabout where the fire extinguisher is in my patrol car. I know it's in the back. I know it's pushed up against one of the sidewalls. I don't know which side, but I can tell you that in a moment like this, it's going to take me a second. I'm going to finger fucking fuddle with the release mechanism and then trying to get the pin out and use the fire extinguisher itself. Like, it's not going to be smooth because I don't use those a whole lot and I don't have a lot of reps of grabbing one and using it. So it's going to take a second, especially if I'm, adrenaline's going to hit because I don't want this guy to burn. But what I like is they went from enforcement to rescue, like the switch. And that's what I was really trying to point out in this video is that switch where the media does like to, and this is going to be me cop-splaining for a second, but the media does like to push that cops aren't trying to help, cops trying to hurt people mentality. And then you see something like this. This biker just went on a fleeing through the public and endangering a lot of people, especially motorcycles. When those things crash, they become little missiles. But it's easy to get emotionally wrapped up and invested because this guy's putting everybody in danger, including yourself. And they immediately, as soon as this guy caught on fire, went into rescue mode. And they didn't drag their feet, nothing. Thankfully, also, motorcycle guy remembered stop, drop, and roll because he does it. But I want you to see how quick they get the damn fire extinguisher. I'm still impressed with it.
Get on the ground! He's on fire! He's on fire! Get extinguisher! Extinguisher!
Like, that cop wasted you could hear he was genuine concern for this dude. And somebody argued, he's just trying to save his own ass. No, he's not. He's not going to get in trouble for it. How the hell would he know that their guy had a canister of gas on him? He was totally justified in using a taser, and just perfect storm happened right here. That's all. Oh, he stopped, dropping, and rolling.
Don't fire. Put your hands behind your back.
Very impressive. Not only do they get the fire out, he gets that thing on him as soon as he can. They don't immediately just jump on him when the fire goes out. They start going back to verbal commands. Put your hands behind your back. Like, they didn't. It's very easy to get stuck in that OODA loop where you're like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I've been there where you don't even know what to say because you're worried about so many different things. You're worried about this dude being melted. Like, shit, that sucks. And then you're worried, well, shit, I'm the one that caused it. It wasn't intentional, but I'm the one that caused it. And now also he's not secure. Like, he ran for a reason. Does he have a gun? We haven't even stopped to frisk this guy yet. There's all these things going through your head. And I think that these officers stayed so professional and just handled it like pros in a situation that is not pro.
I got him up. He's not on fire anymore. 215.
Now, let me be the first to say that some of it.
So I really like that video. I'm gonna stop sharing. I thought it was great. How quickly they got to that fire extinguisher. That was insane. I've seen a lot of stuff in my lifetime, and that is not one of them. And to be again, I'm just very highly impressed with the switch. There was zero hesitation. As soon as the guy lit up, he was running to his vehicle to get the fire extinguisher. He recognized the issue so fast. It was very impressive. Very impressive. Wade Lucero said you shouldn't touch someone who was on fire. Their skin can come off. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely possible. But at the same time, you do got to get them secured. So that's on this dude. He wouldn't have caught on fire if he didn't run. So, but yeah, crazy stuff. Put out a video talking about Army Guy Travels. He had sent in a request. I'll give you guys credit. Anytime somebody puts out a public request, I get a lot of direct message requests. So I'm kind of under the assumption if you're sending in that's funny. If you're sending that in a DM, unless you specifically say, hey, you can give me credit, I leave it anonymous. So I always say, hey, we got a question here and we got a question there. Well, Army Guy asked for the request on comment thread, wanting to know the difference between ICE and police. The question wasn't super specific, but I think what he was trying to get at was, why are they calling ICE police? And some people say they're not the police and da-da-da-da. So the basic premise I said is if you got arrest authority, it's not uncommon to call yourself police. So now that was the breakdown on that. Guys, if you're jumping in on Instagram, thank you. Appreciate you guys. Doesn't look like there's a whole Instagram numbers suck, man. They always suck. It shows like hundreds of people joining, but it only shows 4 people in. I don't get it. Chef Rang, VNCA. Chef. I don't know what that means. Sounds cool. I'm not sure what that means though. VNCA. All right. Let me go to all right, let's go to King Cult News. We'll watch that auditor video. Craig said Instagram Live is awful. Yeah. Jerry said I would call ICE federal law enforcement versus police, which deal with state and local. I agree, Jerry. I'm just saying I understand why they call themselves police and all that stuff as well. So share screen. We're going to go to this one. We'll biggie size this one. All right. And let me rewind it a little bit. Let me show you what not to do as a cop.
Sir, you don't have ID? If you don't have ID, then I'm going to detain you. And I'm probably going to arrest you for harassment. Give me your ID.
Gonna arrest him for harassment. Let's just go down the litany of stupid things this cop says in this video. For one, the call was because this guy was taking pictures through windows of these front-facing public businesses, and he's on a public sidewalk. So the officer stops, makes contact with him, and decides that he's going to stop and detain him for harassment because he asked this guy to move along, and he didn't, and he doesn't have to. He's not obstructing anything, and he has every right to film and take pictures on a public sidewalk. So because he didn't move, he threatens him with detainment and arrest for harassment to start out. So let's keep going.
Or are you going to be detained?
Sir?
Controller.
What law do you...
Sir, I'm asking questions now. Give me your ID. Give me your ID, or I'm going to arrest you for disorderly conduct. One and up.
All right, now we've added another charge here, harassment and disorderly conduct. Not giving your ID is not disorderly conduct, especially when you don't have a lawful reason to get it. So Mr. Billfold said that tyrant sergeant has other videos of him arresting people for filming on the sidewalk in Indianapolis. He knew better and knew nothing could happen to him. See, and this is where people will say, well, you always say training. It depends. If you knowingly, like if this guy knows right now that he doesn't have a lawful reason to detain this person or put any of these charges that he's throwing out there to get to coerce ID, then to me, he deserves jail. Because now you're intentionally violating somebody's rights knowingly and with intent to do so. So that's where the rub happens with me with other cops who are like, no, it's a training thing. It's a this, it's a that. No, I'm sorry. Like, this is where you cross the line with me. Yes, cops can lie, but not in instances like this to coerce ID. So let's, the guy in this video you're showing spent 24 hours in jail. They charged him with battery as well. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. They do. You're getting ahead of me, but yes. So far we've got disorderly conduct and harassment. Neither charge fits yet.
Go ahead and throw 128 back to him.
Disorderly conduct for taking pictures on a public sidewalk.
Sir, that's on you. Do you want to do that or not? Tell me now. So I'm going to help you out because I'm tired. Because I asked you a minute ago
I'm prepared
to leave.
I'm prepared
You're
to go to-
steer. Thank you.
I'm prepared to go to jail. All right, there you go.
Nope, put your head behind your back.
He says, all right, there you go. I love how smooth he goes. Make sure you, and by the way, credit again to Colt News. I don't want him to think I'm trying to steal his thunder, but we are trying to take business away from him so cops quit doing this. But at the same time, I don't want him to be out for what he does. Let's keep
I'm
going.
taking all your equipment. Let's go. Yep, yes, sir. I know you are. Raise up. Move your hand. You're harassing these people inside. I asked you to move a long time ago.
Public sidewalk.
Yeah, I know you are.
It's not harassment. It's on a public sidewalk.
You're harassing people inside. You up there at the window. I asked you not to do that. The people already called on you. There's a bank. They're scared of you being outside taking photos. Any man in the world will understand that.
Against the law.
But you,
Not against the law.
disorderly conduct here because I asked you to leave.
On a public sidewalk.
That's okay.
I found this video from Cult News. He's an
All right. So yeah, I don't have the whole thing on here. Let me stop sharing. But yeah, they end up slapping battery charges as well. If you guys go to our Discord channel, Mr. Billfold did post the whole, I think it was Mr. Billfold posted the video. I ended up watching it, and yeah, they do slap battery charges. Which I don't even know where the fuck that came from. So yeah, wrongfully arrested, wrongfully charged. And the shit part about this, and this is what I want other cops to try to think about, is they gotta, like, they could, if this person has a regular job, as a whatever, they could be out their job. They're going to definitely be out money because they're going to have to get some sort of defense going. If they get a public defender, it still could end up costing them. It's going to cost them money. They're going to have to spend time out of their day doing things that they could have been doing other things to make money. So it all because of what? Ego. You didn't want a repeat call. You didn't want to, instead of taking the time to educate and going into the bank to help prevent calls from coming in, you've just weaponized them and incentivized this guy to keep doing what he does. Why would you stop? Why stop doing what you do with this auditor stuff when cops are making it so damn easy to keep doing it? That's the problem. And cops don't want to take ownership for that. Oh, they're frauditors. Oh, they're just out there trying to make money. Who cares? It's America. Make money how you want. You may not like it, but it doesn't matter. You don't get to pick and choose what part of the Constitution you like and enforce just the parts you like. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. Yeah, it gets frustrating. It's frustrating that it's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's still fun for me. I like videos where cops just absolutely kill it on these First Amendment audit videos, where they just do a great job. They know exactly what they're talking about, and they educate the person, and the auditor catches it all. And like, I love those videos. It's great. Warms my heart. And we'll show those ones off, but I see way too many videos where they don't get it right. And it's crazy in 2026 now that still seems to be an issue. It seems like we would have this down pat. Oh yeah, I haven't got a chance to talk about this video yet. Let me share the screen. We're going to.
The Chief Space says it all.
The number of police officers that we have to fight ICE agents on the street. To fight ICE agents on the street. To stand by their neighbors.
Horrible idea. One, there's zero communication going on between these two. Zero communication. Because that caught that chief. I don't know shit about that chief. I don't know shit about that mayor. I don't follow the news. But I know a little bit about what's going on, and that chief had no clue that statement was about to be made. Because had he known, you would have told him, don't say that, because that's not true. Federal law supersedes state and local. So getting in between like that, causing division, is just a recipe for disaster. Now, I have put out there several times, but I'll put it out again. How you fix this issue is by involving the local police. And here's my little plan in my head. This is what I think. So let's say they're coming down to Dallas, Texas. ICE is like, we're going there. We're going to be there in a month. Cool. If I'm Dallas PD, I'm going to say, put me in touch with whatever leaders you guys have for ICE if you guys are coming out here. You meet up. Okay, we want a list of all of your targets, everybody that you got warrants for that you plan to go after. And we're going to vet it. We're going to see. Okay, cool. Here's all the people you guys got. Here's the locations that we recommend you go to. Here's the warrants we recommend that you follow through, and the ones that we recommend you don't. And here's the list of reasons why. These 10 warrants, and we'll just say out of a list of 50. Out of the 50 warrants you got, these 10 right here, these people have not had a criminal record in 5+ years, whatever marker you want to make it. They've had zero. The most they've had is in their time here in this country, the most they had was a traffic ticket. That is going to get you negative publicity. Highly recommend you don't go after those guys. So you've got your opinion on the record there. These other ones, they have been wanted for this. Here's your list of non-violent offenders, your burglars, your BMV actors, all that stuff. And then here's your list of violent offenders, people that we've had problems with. Okay. We recommend you go after the violent ones first. Let us know when you plan to go, where you plan to go. We'll get set up so we can help keep the area secure. We're not going to help with the arrest. And then now you can communicate to your community leaders as the local law enforcement. Now you go say, hey, we met with them. We told them, here's our recommendations. And you can have that without giving away information, obviously. And we'll see if they choose to do that. Hopefully they do. If they don't, now it's completely on them. And the community isn't just going to be outraged at all law enforcement. They're going to be outraged with just ICE. But I couldn't honestly see ICE not taking the advisement of local PD. They'd be dumb to do that. But right now, there's just no communication going on, period. I think that's the problem. You got to work together. It's the best way to do it. It's the best way to keep peace amongst everybody. So, but calling for them to fight in the street, really? Come on, guy. That's spoken like a guy who's never had a violent encounter in his life. Mr. Billfold says, I don't think ICE needs to run it by local law enforcement. They just need local law enforcement to control the traffic and obstructions on the ground. Now, I disagree. I mean, that's a part of it. Absolutely. That's a part of it. But they need to filter through and vet so they can help them because they don't know these people that they're going after. Your local law enforcement is probably going to know them. And if they don't know them, that's a good sign. That means that person hasn't been a problem more than likely. Doesn't have a real criminal record. So, just saying. If the idea is to get the violent ones out first, then go after the violent ones first. Go after the ones that continuously victimize people here in the States. You know? And then figure out where you want to go from there. Just my opinion. Doesn't make me right. But I think you're wrong when you say that ICE doesn't need to run it by local law enforcement. I absolutely think they do. If you're going to do it all the way, do it right. Don't just half-ass it. That idea is half-assing it. Because what's going to happen? They're going to go after, little Mary Beth that's working over at fucking McDonald's, been working there for the last 30 years, has never had a criminal record in her life other than coming over illegally, and that's going to cause a huge stink. Huge stink. Where do you get this shit from, Mr. Billfold? They cannot run it by local law unless local agencies volunteer. The fuck they can't. I have people, FBI, call me every day. Hey, have you heard of this guy? Yeah, I heard of that guy. Okay, cool. What do you know about him? Oh, this, that, and the other. It's a fucking phone call. It doesn't have to be sworn in. It doesn't have to be. It's just information sharing. Law enforcement agencies can share information to law enforcement agencies. Pretty simple. Has nothing to do with it has to be under 287G. Fuck out of here with that. It's information. Easily can share information. I didn't say force them to. Holy shit. They can't force local law enforcement to participate, Eric. So it's running it by locals is not legal. It's not forced participation. It's just sharing information. Again, working together would be the opposite of forcing. You shouldn't force any of them. That's the problem. Trying to force things. No means no. A lot of these issues can be solved when locals pick up and the legal alien for a state charge and then let them out even though they have an ICE detention hold. Yeah, that's another one. If they get arrested and they're in the jail and they got a detention hold on them, contact and say, hey, your dude's here. Pretty easy. K Dizzle, local law enforcement, mailman, ICE. Thomas Malcolm, common courtesy. Yeah. For ICE, it is governed by that, Eric. It is the rules for ICE, not the same as FBI. There is no law saying that they cannot talk and have conversations with law enforcement. There's not. There may be certain information they can't give, but having conversations can be had. For sure. To me, it sounds like you're making excuses why they can't. He said, Mr. Billfold said, the FBI does not have the same authority or scope as ICE. No shit. Otherwise, why would they need ICE if they had the same fucking mission? No shit. I know this. But I can talk to the Department of Corrections. I can talk to ICE. I can talk to the DEA. I can talk to ATF. I can call them up and say, hey, what do you know about Mr. Billfold? And they can say, well, the information I can give you is this. Yeah, we plan to be in the area, between this month and that month. Okay, cool. Hey, let us know what we can know, and we'll help you out as far as information that we can give you. So, you show me the law, Mr. Billfold. You show me the law that says they can't share information. Show me that. Give me a link, send it to me, whatever. Show me the law that says they can't share information. I have never in my life ever heard that any other law enforcement agency can't share information. There's limited information they can share, but they can definitely fucking talk to each other. K Dizzle said, so what happens when ICE is terrorizing legal citizens and they call local police to come save them? What happens then? Well, just like anything, it depends. There's people claiming that there's a bunch of illegal things that ICE is doing when it turns out they don't have all the information. They're doing legal things. More often than not, your issues got to get solved in court, because I can tell you right now, if ICE comes to my front door and says, turn around, put your hands behind your back, you're under arrest, there ain't a damn thing I can do about it. I'm not going to get violent. I'm not going to call the police. I'm going to go to court and be like, they got the wrong guy. That's why we have court. So, Mr. Billfold said, I think, where's this comment? It freaked out for a second. I think locals would help ICE. I'm pointing out why they do not. Sharing information is your term. They can't physically they can't go help arrest. Well established. Just like your term of they can go set a perimeter and help keep the area secure, which I already said. That's the same damn thing as giving information, talking. They can do that. But they can't go help knock down doors and pull people out of houses or whatever the hell it is they got to do. Fuzzy Dice said, I think the only can't share is tax info. Possibly. The police would need to lower their standards. Gina. Let me see here. Executive order protecting American people against invasion. This executive order requires ICE to authorize state and local law officials. Yeah, again, that's for enforcement. We're not talking about enforcement. We're talking about sharing information. That's not enforcement. Setting the perimeter is authorized under state and local laws. That's what I'm getting at. So is sharing information. That's what I'm getting at. But to finalize on this topic, yeah, division's never going to work. Causing that stuff is never going to work. Oh man, let's talk about this one because I cannot tell. Hundreds of people jumped my shit over this video. And it was for something that is so dumb. So I just thought it was funny. Again, this goes into being the point of a video with the purpose behind it. This one was just to make people laugh because 2 ICE agents ate shit. I don't even know if they're actually ICE agents. It just fit for the joke. It was funny. So I'll play it.
Did you all see this latest video of an ICE agent being taken down by ICE? That's embarrassing, boys.
So a bunch of people lost their shit because they said the cop
You're watching DTV.
discharged a round. He did not discharge a round.
This latest video of an ICE agent being taken down by ICE.
Both hands are off the weapon. And this is his front-mounted weapons light. It got either bumped by his leg or it's just very sensitive. I have one. I can't show you it because the last time I showed anything on a live stream, I got my account banned for a week. I forgot you can't show firearms live on a stream, so I'm not going to do that. But if you just bump them, sometimes they light up. They're very sensitive. Some are. And that's what happened here. This is his light. And the amount of people that lost their shit because they said, oh, we're just going to make jokes about cops having negligent discharges and not reporting them. That's not what happened here at all. That was the weapon mounted light. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to go back to. Can I go back? Oh, I'm not clicking on the right part. The part I want you to pay attention to also is their reaction. If that rifle would have went off, they would have been ducking their heads. They would have flinched real bad. They would have been looking everywhere. This is not the reaction of anybody that just accidentally fired their firearm.
Agent being taken down by ICE.
Watch the reaction afterwards. Oh, shit. Fuck. Ah. You all right, Billy? Ah, yeah, I'm good. Oh. They don't even look back.
That's embarrassing, boys.
You're watching.
That was pretty embarrassing for them, by the way. That's funny. That shit's funny. But yeah, to the point of that, it wasn't a firearm, so people can stop freaking out. I posted it in the comments as well because I didn't realize people were going to mistake that for a weapon discharging. I thought people would have a little more common sense to see that there was zero reaction, zero indicators that was a firearm other than that light going off. Anyway, let's go to another video. Oh yeah, this was a good one here. Whoops. Let's share the screen. Share. Big size. And play.
This is public order training 101. You never visit police. This is one of the most dangerous things that police can do.
So I'm going to go back. So you can see the chief here. This is Brussels police chief. I don't know where Brussels is at. Is that Germany? I don't know. He goes out and he's trying to make an arrest by himself. Public Order 101, that you never go out on your own. You always, you're actually very, very, very picky on who you arrest in these instances. More often than not, if you're going to do it, it needs to be as a team. It needs to be quick, and it needs to be pulling that person behind a line. So this chief is already in the wrong being out there by himself. And when you're going after people, you got to have a target in mind. It looks like he's just kind of going after anybody and anybody he can catch, which is always a bad idea. And specifically in public order, you want to go after agitators. And somebody asked me what an agitator is, and I'll get to that in a second. But one of the things I want you to see is Project 1868, Chief Jean-Claude Van Damme. That is a fucking priceless comment right there. Well played, sir. That is great. So when you go out, when he goes out, I want you guys to pay attention. The agitator that goes and knocks him the fuck out right here, he goes to the ground. Now, another guy, another agitator, this guy in the black, he comes over and wallops the guy in the green because he's trying to keep people off this downed officer. And then this dude in the gray hoodie comes in and protects the downed officer. So even though I think he's a part of the protest, he recognized that this is way wrong.
He just
pushes him off. So, I'll give kudos to that guy for stepping up in a very bad situation and sacrificing him, putting himself out there because the mob could have turned on him just as quickly. But yeah, you don't ever want to go out there alone. And him going out there by himself was a stupid move. I hope he learned his lesson in that. And so the agitators, when we work public order, there's a ton of people that are trying to get you to do something stupid as a cop, or they're trying to draw you out so they can catch you alone like this. And you don't want to get wrapped up in that. And the agitators, the ones I consider agitators, are the ones that are stockpiling bricks. They're stockpiling frozen water bottles, very mundane items when they're just sitting there by themselves. Nobody thinks about. They're purposely getting things riled up, trying to get other people to do actions through that mob mentality. So you got to kind of spot your agitators and target them. So because I'm all for a peaceful protest, but the moment it starts to turn violent, I'm done. Like, no, it's not what they're for. Peaceful protests are awesome. I've been a part of a lot of them as a cop, just going across the entire city, the entire downtown area. I've worked just about every single gay pride parade protest that we've had, BLM protest that we've had. Man, what other ones have we had? The George Floyd ones. Our protests were very impassioned. There's a lot of passion behind people that were there protesting, but we met with them. We talked to the leaders of that got it going and told them, hey, this is your First Amendment right. We're here to protect you guys. Just communicate with us and we'll communicate back with you. And we'll try to keep the counter protesters away from y'all so you guys can get your message across. Because that is oftentimes where the problems come, is from the counter protesters. Doesn't matter what the message is. There's usually some counter protesters there. And they're the shit starters more often than not. So, and then there's people that hijack protests. This is another thing that's a problem. People will show up acting like they're a part of your cause. And, oh man, what was the last one I went to? I can't remember what the topic was. So anyway, I'm leading the police side, and I go and I make contact with the leaders. This young 21-year-old girl, she really got a good She got like 3,000 people. It was awesome. It's kind of cool to see. And she didn't expect to get that many people. So she gets this huge protest going, and these pro-Palestine people showed up, and like probably 15 to 20 of them, and they hijacked not hijack, like they were trying to hijack their protest. And the cool part about when you get a permit for a protest, like the area is yours, whoever's on the protest permit. Well, she did that. She took those steps, and she's like, can you get these pro-Palestine people out of our protests? They're alienating everybody, and we're worried that it's going to get violent because of them. And we're like, sure. So they gave us permission. We went and told those people that they had to go. And of course they put up a little bit of a stink, but after that, got them out of there. No one got arrested, but they weren't allowed to be there. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to see. So yeah, peaceful protests are awesome. And they're very powerful. You don't need the violence to be powerful. It's just having a good message and having a lot of passion. So it's a very cool thing. That's why I like being in America. It's a cool thing. I don't think that I've ever been a part of a protest myself. I don't think I've ever been a part of it, like where I'm there for the cause. I don't think I've ever done that. If you've been a part of a protest, drop it in the chat. Let me know what type of protest you've been a part of, if you want to divulge that. Just curious how it went. What was your experience like? How were the police? Ben Alvarez said, can't be more in awe of police working protests. I have worked several RNCs and DNCs as bike police. I had fun on every one of them. Every one of them was great. Never got too crazy. I think we only had a couple times where we actually had to like physically put our hands on a couple people. No one got beat up or anything like that, but the passion that both sides have, you can feel the tension in the air sometimes. And but it's just interesting to see. You don't see that in a lot of other countries without a lot of violence happening. But I think because our culture is based on it, we do it. I think we do it better than anybody else. I could be wrong. I don't know. Let me go over here to the videos. Oh no. We went too far. Oh yeah. A little highway safety tip. We'll go to this one. Share screen. Excuse me. All right. Let's biggie size this guy.
Freeway can turn bad really quickly.
Mother trucker. Whoa. Thank goodness I was slow.
All right. This brings me to my public safety tips. If you can avoid stopping on the freeway, do it. I have told my wife, if you get a flat tire, I don't care if you tear up the rim, get off the freeway. Do not stop on freeways if you can avoid it. Now, obviously, this guy's in law enforcement. He's either got a vehicle pulled over or he's trying to run interference, so nobody slams into the back of that truck. So he's maybe just sitting there with his lights on. I like that the officer's on the passenger side. That was a smart move. But when these tires come flying off, he said, thank God it was slow. He's not wrong, because sometimes they'll take motorcyclists' heads off and all sorts of crazy shit. The hard part's going to be to still have a lot of momentum. You've seen it probably bent that damn door frame a little bit. Probably bent that door, not the frame, but the door. And you got to explain it to your sergeant, your supervisor. Just imagine, you're not going to believe this, Sarge. I'm on the side. I'm trying to do the right thing. I swear, my heart was pure that day, Sarge. I was just trying to help a trucker out, and tire come flying out of nowhere. Almost took my door off. I barely escaped with my life, sir. I jumped out of the way. It's coming in hot. I accidentally ended up in a gay pride march, so I just went with it and walked with them. I mean, it's a good time. Don't get me wrong, especially when it's a positive vibe protest. We got the, in Texas, we get the pro marijuana ones. There's a lot of protests that are like, they're not there to gripe. They're there to, like, in solidarity about something fun. So Pride Parade one, there's a lot of cool, positive ones that go through, and those are really fun because everybody's laughing and joking around, and just, it's just a easy reason for them to all get together, and nobody really gets too upset about it. Mr. Banning Sweatland in the house. He said, what's up, fam? Nothing, Banning, just on here trying to have some discussions, talk to people, messing with the new setup, trying to get things hammered out here, and everything looks like it's working just fine. I think I got my sound down. I do need to get another set of headphones. We had 3 people in studio last time, and that caused all sorts of sound problems because I don't have another set of headphones, so I got to get some. I also need to get one of those ultraviolet or whatever sanitizers for my mics. Just realized that I haven't sanitized them since I've got them. I've had them like 5 years. It's probably pretty gross as I look at my mic. I'm learning here, guys. I don't think about this stuff. That's Arizona DPS, Anthony said. Still looking over at Instagram. We've been holding about 4 people on our live at a time, but we got quite a few on YouTube. At least the classroom size is what I like to say. The pictures of the studio looked great, brother. I appreciate it, Banning. I thought they looked pretty good. Created a little more space. I think my wife ordered the chairs. We're trying to get rid of the table for the most part and create more of an open seating environment. Thomas McComb said, "Smoke wagon is the disinfectant." You are not wrong, sir. You're not wrong. Speaking of, let me put a new ice cube on there. There we go. Listen, if now that I'm thinking about it, putting money into the show, if you guys want to support the show and what we do, if you like what we're doing, you want to support, like, shares, and follows is the easy, free, quick way to support us. So highly recommend you guys do that. But if you want to do more, if you're like, you know what, these guys, I've watched a few of their shows. I watch a lot of their shorts and reels. I think they deserve a little bit more, and you want to help us out financially. The money's not getting rolled into Banning's very high diesel gas mileage account for his big ass truck that he needs to haul his ass around the country. It just goes right back into the show. We use things like YouTube Premium, so you don't have to deal with ads, because that got me in hot water with a lot of our followers. And then we use it to get equipment for the show, to get things better and more efficient for us. So right now, I'm going to get another set of headphones because we had Von Kleem in studio and we had Banning and we had me. The most I've ever really had at one at a time was 2. So I never really thought of a third set. Turns out it looks like I need a third set. So that's what we're going to try to do. Craig Holcomb coming through. He said, you know what? Let me help out. I'm going to give 10 memberships. So let's go through because there's a game we play. Every time memberships get gifted, there's one person that has never got one. He's been with us since basically the beginning, and that's Marine's Blood. So I'm going to go through and see if he got one. If he didn't, you guys know the rule. You got to take a sip. And I'm looking. I don't even see anybody that got an account or that got a membership of people that normally participate. So, no MB. Take a drink. If you guys are wondering what smoke wagon I'm drinking tonight, it is the Private Barrel. And it is aged 7 years with the red label. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but that's a wax label that's put into the bottle. It's hard to tell, but oh yeah, you can see the moon shape right there. If Smoke Wagon had nothing else going for them, it's definitely the coolest bottle that's out there. But Eric, can you do a breathalyzer test at the end of each show thing? You know what? That's an idea. I could. I don't have one, but I could try to get a hold of one. I think Banning can get a hold of some of those. I think he's got something there. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs, Craig. Man, that's got to be hard for Marine Blood to say. But yeah, I could do one. It's not going to be as high as you guys think it will be. I know I have this, but I sip slow. There's not a whole lot of nights I go back to the house where I'm like, holy shit, I had too much. It doesn't happen too often. I have a BAC tester. See, I knew Banning had something. I knew he had something. What's your guys' opinion on drones? I'm just curious. There's a lot of talk on license plate readers and data collection and stuff like that. I know that's a hot button topic right now. My opinion is they shouldn't be storing data for, ridiculous amounts of time. I think 30 days is about the longest it should be holding any type of information. But drones they're going to be taken over. You're going to have drones on cops. You're going to have drones on cop cars. You're going to have drones that are in the skies just all the time. They're going to be here. They're already here, but they're going to be here way more than what your mind is wrapping around right now. I'm just curious what you all think. BAC is blood alcohol content. Drinking 11-year Carnmore Scotch. I probably butchered how that's actually pronounced, but up here in the Great White North. All right. I don't mind Scotch if it's, I think it's called Highlands style Scotch. See, I don't like the real smoky, peaty flavor of Scotches. Don't like it. I'm a big, my three favorites are, it's going to be bourbon is my top. And then it's kind of a tie between tequila and what the hell are they called? Cognac. It's a tie between the two because I could drink tequila or I could drink cognac. Like the most common one's probably Hennessy. I'll drink Hennessy on the rocks. I like both. Fuzzy Dice said drones are super useful. I agree. I think drones are. I am in the process right now of getting my 107. It is a pain in the ass. It is. Not an easy test, y'all. All the information you have to learn. If you are thinking about getting a 107, it's an investment. It is. It's not easy. I have been studying my ass off, and I think I'm about 2 weeks away from taking the test, maybe. Feeling comfortable enough to take the test. Mr. Billfold said, I think that as the law catches up with technology, cops will find ways to pigeonhole the plain view doctrine into drones as well. Give law enforcement an edge. They will, oh, fuck you, 100%. Listen, y'all, that's kind of why I like to have the discussions now. Because if you guys can give me ideas of where you think it'll be abused, I can help try to prevent it. This is the beauty of being a part of the National Real-Time Crime Center Association is we create a white pages for best practices. So as these agencies are looking to get them themselves, hopefully they reach out to us and we can avoid them ruining a good tool. But is it going to prevent it 100%? No. But damn it, let's try to get as many of those problems solved before they happen. So I'm with you, Mr. Billfold. You're 100% right. It's going to get abused. Somebody's going to fuck it up. For sure. Ario dropped $5 in the super chat. He said, I think they're pretty cool, but I'm afraid they could be used for stalking someone for a crime, i.e. retaliation. Yeah, it could be. Now, the beauty of it is, and this is one thing that I do like, is one, you can't hide it. That's the other thing. You can't hide. You can't hide that at all. And then the other thing is once you have an audit trail, the audit trail is going to be super simple to find. I'm looking over at the Discord. I saw Marine Blood drop something in there, so I'm going to try to pull it up for y'all. If I can find. I think it's on my TV. It is. Give me 1 second. This fucking thing. There we go. My TV behind me is also a monitor that's connected to my computer, so sometimes it opens things and puts it on the TV instead of in front of my face. So I had to turn around, look. There it is. Let me see if I can share this ridiculous picture with y'all. I don't know if you guys have seen, but we've got a new airplane apparently. Check that out. You know what? I'm not mad at that at all. I'm not mad at that. I got to be 2 white cops, bro. It's ridiculous. Too funny. All right, let me stop sharing the screen there. But yeah, I think you're right, Ario. I do think for sure it's going to be used for. Somebody's going to do something stupid with it. Going to do something stupid with it for sure. Andy Fletcher said, Fourth Amendment, they already skirt around it. It's not okay. Look, let's address that. It's not skirting around it if it's legal. It's either legal or it's not. So that is part of police work, figuring out how to catch somebody lawfully. The bad guys already have the advantage. 100%. They got way more advantage than the police do. So that has been the history of good guy, bad guy. Good guy has to follow these certain rules. Hopefully they do that the right way. And then bad guy keeps doing bad guy things till they get caught. Rules change. Good guys got to figure out new ways to work with what they can and can't do. Till they don't. And then it gets changed again. It's just how it works. So skirting around something, I don't really consider it skirting around anything. If it's lawful, it's lawful. The question would be, if they make an area specified for the public to use drones, it will be considered the same as filming from a public sidewalk. Ooh, interesting. I do, man, I know that the drone, the really hard part about drones right now is that like local law enforcement can't do anything. It's all FBI are like really the only ones that can do any sort of counter drone things. Wade, that's a lot of buy me a coffees for that airplane. Yeah. And Ryan, I'll agree with you. There are a lot of gray areas. Definitely right on that. There are a lot of gray areas, and some of the best police work is done in the gray areas. Some of the worst ones is done in the gray areas too. That's why it's gray. Montana search and rescue is the big thing over here. Or overview for scene would have a bigger department for first response types. Yeah. Drones in remote areas is huge. They can help spot fires, wildfires, especially like when you reminded me of Montana. Montana gets a lot of wildfires, big open areas. They got drones that can help put out fires. They actually can do water or fire retardant stuff and spray, and they can drop medical stuff. So for search and rescue, yeah, it's a lot of cool things. Marine Bloods dropping the buy me a cup of coffee in the comments. Andy said, that's lame as hell. I don't know what he means. What's lame? The airplane was lame, or using drones is lame? Mr. Billfold said, unless the state specifically bans it, the open fields doctrine allows them to ignore the Fourth Amendment, not skirt around it. If they can't walk or drive to it without a warrant, they can't fly to it. From what I'm understanding, the air is different than the ground, and that's been established. I think that's the difference. I'm not 100% on that. That's why I don't have my 107 yet. I don't know. I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. I've never had to deal with being in the air. So I'm going to be learning with you guys. The open fields doctrine came from a case about catching moonshiners. Oh, you got to catch those evil moonshiners. Some of the stupid shit we used to go after. I mean, I think we probably still go after people moonshining in certain states. Who knows? Dumb. Dumb waste of time, in my opinion. But what do I know? Let me go back here. Did we talk about yeah, we talked about that. Okay. I've covered all the videos that I've put out lately. I didn't cover the cops do it better in other countries stuff. Going on an hour and a half. But if you guys got any questions, feel free to drop those in the comments. If you're jumping on Instagram Lives, feel free to do the same thing, y'all. I would suggest you move over to our Discord and our YouTube channel. It's where most of the community talks and participates from, but I don't want to exclude our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn crowds either. The open fields doctrine established in the 1924 Supreme Court case Hester versus United States. Andy Fletcher said, because court says it doesn't make it right. Big difference between right and legal. True. Want to get updates on Two Cops, One Donut? Join our Discord. Absolutely. Let me throw that guy up on the big screen right there. These discussions rarely hinge on what is right. They hinge on what is legal. And I think that's an important that's an important thing to distinguish is what is right and what is legal. Because what is right is way more debatable than what is legal. Not much to argue on what's legal, but what somebody considers right. And I think that's the rub. Certain people think it's right for certain things and others don't. And it's like, if you and I can't agree on what's right, what do we have to fall back on? Well, what's legal? That's the hard part. That's the hard part. Like me, I'm not a big fan of tickets. I don't think they're right. I'd rather use it as an educational moment for most instances. But it's legal. And it doesn't mean I'm right. It's just my opinion. Cops arrest Facebook commenters better in other countries. Hey, recently somebody got arrested in the States for their Facebook comment or social media comment. Unreal. Let me see if I can find that. Arrested for social media post US. He spent 37 days in jail for a Facebook post. Oh man, I hate posting. I wish I could find. Let me see if I can just read it to y'all. I don't like showing pages I'm not familiar with stuff because I don't want them to get all booty hurt. A 61-year-old Tennessee man is finally free after spending a shocking 37 days in jail for posting a meme. Retired police officer Larry Bushart told local radio station he's very happy to be going home after his nightmarish ordeal. In September, after the Charlie Kirk assassination, Larry shared a meme on Facebook thread about a vigil in Perry County, Tennessee. The meme quoted President Donald Trump saying, "We have to get over it," following a January 24th school shooting at Perry High School in Iowa. The meme included commentary, "This seems relevant today." Just after 11 p.m. on September 21st, 4 officers came to Larry's home, handcuffed him, and took him to jail. He was locked up for threatening mass violence at a school. His bond, an astronomical $2 million. Holy shit. This is America. Police justified the arrest by saying that people took the meme as a threat to their school, which is a similar name to the one where the school shooting occurred 20 months earlier. However, police have been unable to produce any evidence that members of the public took the meme as a threat. As the Intercept noted, there were no public signs of this hysteria, nor were there much evidence of an investigation or any efforts to warn county schools. Larry was jailed for more than 5 weeks, but that wasn't the only thing he suffered. During that time, he lost his post-retirement job doing medical transportation and missed the birth of his granddaughter. Holy shit. Prosecutors finally dropped the charges only after the arrest went viral. Now, a newly freed Larry, who spent over 3 decades with law enforcement and the Tennessee Department of Corrections, is preparing to sue. A free country does not dispatch police in the dead of night to pull people from their homes because a sheriff objects to their social media post, Fire's Adam Steinberg told the Washington Post. Now, Fire is representing Larry to defend his rights and yours. This meme doesn't become a threat just because a sheriff says it is. In America, there are very few exceptions to the First Amendment, including true threats or incitement of imminent lawless action. Jailing first, justifying later, flips those limits on their head. If officials can arrest you because they dislike your social media post, then none of us are safe to express ourselves. I agree. I agree with that. That is so yeah, in America, people are trying to do some bullshit. Now, legally, they can do it in other countries, but I don't think you're going to make it too far here in the States. So on that, I will say that's 100% horseshit. I can't believe that was even allowed. But I'm hoping this guy wins a shitload of money for him and his family, especially not getting to see his granddaughter be born. That's a big deal. That'll be a little cherry on the top of that lawsuit. Hopefully he's able to do, I mean, sounds like he's got the representation and all the stuff he needs to do it. Now the problem is it was a sheriff's department that did it, or the sheriff himself. So that's an elected position to begin with. I don't know what the rules are on that, but he definitely, that dude deserves to be fired and put in prison himself. You know damn well that was, you did that shit unlawfully. How do we know that? He didn't warn any schools. If you legitimately took that as a threat, you would have been reaching out to schools. Hey, we need to take these precautions. Here's the problems. Let's get all these things in motion while we're handling the arrest. He didn't do that. He didn't do shit. He just didn't like the post. So to me, you knew that. Say, it's not hard to be a detective, guys. It's not hard to pull out intent. If your intent was because you thought it was a legitimate threat, there's a lot of stuff you would have done. But you didn't. You didn't think that was a legitimate threat. My thing is I wonder if he even knew that this guy used to be a cop when he first started doing all this shit. See? Crazy. Crazy. I hope he wins a shitload of money. But this is where the qualified immunity is going to be messed up, because I bet on the qualified immunity side of the house that nothing's going to happen on that side. Unfortunately. That's where the system needs to be fixed with qualified immunity, in my opinion. But I'm not going down that road, Mr. Billfold. I know he's in there chomping at the bit. Yeah, let's talk about that. No, we're not talking about qualified immunity. We've beat that dead horse on here plenty of times. We did have a lot of fun having Von Kleem on. I'm hoping to get a lot more in-studio lives for y'all to kind of replace doing podcasts. I do think the podcast. Tell me what you guys' opinion are. Do you like the podcast in themselves, or would you rather the podcast be the interview live and then we kind of do the Q&A thing at the end? I like that personally. I like doing that. But I also know that there's some people that are just like, no, I don't want to deal with any of the live stream, like, placement stuff and all that. And you just want to listen to just a regular old interview. Some people like that too. I like that. That's why I started listening to podcasts. I just like hearing people bullshit and talk together. So just curious what you guys think on that. But yeah, so I'm looking at speaking of online speech and freedom, the UK put out a game basically warning, if you disagree with the government, you can get sent to re-education camps. The bad character backfired and has become really liked. What the fuck? Too crazy. Mr. Billfolds, Eric, keep the new format and edit it for podcast purposes. Appreciate it. I like it. Andy said, I like it all. You know, Andy, I like you. I like Andy. Oh, I know Matt's retiring this year. I think it's in June-ish, July maybe. So I'm hoping to get, once Matty gets done with all his retirement stuff, I'm sure he's going to have to start burning time eventually too. So once he does all that, start getting him on a lot more regularly. Trying to get him to do his own podcast through the DTV stuff. I think Matt would be able to do a really kick-ass show. We gotta get him set up. Gotta get him from out of recording himself in his closet at his house. Too funny. But I think that's about all I got for you guys tonight. I think I got about an hour and 45 minutes in me. If I don't got any questions out there, Marine said he likes the podcast stream. I appreciate it. I do too. Yeah, if you guys don't have a whole lot of questions, Holden, probably a good time to cut it. I appreciate all the donations tonight, guys. Thank you very much. It definitely helps. Andy said that'll be a loss for his city. It won't be a loss if they take what he did and run with it. I hope they do. Fuzzy Dice said, thanks, Sarge. Have a good night. Appreciate you, brother. You too. But yeah, I hope they don't just, sit back and watch him do it all. And they're like, that was cool. And then they don't continue it themselves. So Tactical Tequila Podcast just joined. Speaking of Matt, as we were just talking, Matt was on the Tactical Tequila Podcast. I was on it too. We're eventually going to have Tactical Tequila on our own podcast. So he jumped on. He said, check out Matt's episode. Also check out Eric's episode on Tactical Tequila Podcast. So yeah, guys, make sure you go check out Matt's recent episode with him. Maybe we'll get Tactical Tequila on soon. Try to get, I got to figure out when. I just switched back over tonight, so I got to kind of figure out my schedule again when it's going to flow. I'm thinking we're still going to maybe stick to Mondays if I work 410s, but I don't know if I'm allowed to work 410s right now, so we'll find out. But other than that, guys, appreciate it. He said, let's do it. Hell yeah. Everybody have a good night. Take it easy, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night. I don't have a guest or anything scheduled right now other than having Banning the regular knuckleheads on. So we'll see how that goes, see what we can do. Other than that, everybody have a good night. And to my mods, thank you very much for jumping on and helping out. He said, I'm down. Let me know. Will do, brother. Everybody